Today, we are going to be talking about self-love. And so loving yourself first, again, it's so important. Self-love truly influences everything in your life. We focus so much on finding a romantic partner, but how well you love yourself actually influences who you choose, right? It's going to influence everything in your life. It's a factor in the way that you deal with life's challenges and how you interact with the world. And so when we choose to love ourselves first, we are able to have more compassion for ourselves, to accept ourselves, and to become more confident and able to fulfill our purpose. So, how does one go about loving themselves first? How does that work, right? Well, the first thing is really in practicing self-care and taking care of your own needs. So making sure that you have the amount of sleep that you need, that you are exercising your body, that you're having good eating habits, and that you're focusing on the amount of social and quiet time that you need. And every single one of us is going to be unique in this. I know for me personally that I have a certain amount of sleep that I need to get in order to function at my best. And I know what happens if I don't get that much, right? And then I know how good my body feels when I move it, but you also need to figure out if your body loves hard workouts or if your body loves gentle workouts. And then, of course, those good eating habits. What does your body respond to? Really paying attention to you. Paying attention to what you need and really focusing on that is key. The second way that you can focus on loving yourself more and first is forgiving yourself and being compassionate. A lot of times we're so hard on ourselves and we are kicking ourselves about past situations and things we could have done differently and having those regrets. But if you look at a situation as a learning experience, you really can make a huge difference in your life. You can look at it from an observer perspective. So really be that observer that's that fly on the wall, right? It's that fly on the wall of what really happened from that objective perspective, and then what can I learn from it? How can I grow from it? And then move on, right? See what you can do differently maybe in the future, but stop kicking yourself for what you did in the past. Okay, so that's number 2, second way to love yourself first. So the first one is practicing your self-care, and the second is forgiving yourself and being compassionate to you. The third way is really just practicing mindfulness. Taking the time to really pay attention. We talked a little bit about that in self-care, right? But really paying attention. And that's one thing that I do with my private clients is I really teach them different techniques to practice mindfulness in their lives so that they can continue to use those ongoing, right? And so one of the ways that I do that, I'll give you guys a few good tips, is through using progressive relaxation. And that's something you can do before bed. It's a really great time for that, or anytime you want to just take a few minutes to relax. But really focus on your body and progressively relax different parts of your body. You can start with your toes, and then your feet, your ankles, and your calves, your knees and your thighs, your torso, your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and your fingers, right? Just really focus on each individual area slowly and with purpose, being very mindful of your body and moving your way up and taking a nice deep breath, right? And that's a second way that you can be mindful, is you can be mindful of your breath. You can just take a few moments anytime, even at your desk. You can just sit and decide to be mindful of your breath for a few moments, remembering to inhale half as long as you exhale. I think exhaling is something that we don't really pay much attention to, and I know that that is going to help calm you. If you have anxiety or you're having any kind of negative emotions, regulating your breathing is really going to calm you down. It's going to center you. It's going to help you to be able to just take a breath, take a moment, take a step back, and be really observant of you and how you're feeling. And then another way that you can really be mindful is to look at your surroundings. Maybe it's in the shower. Again, these are things that you can do anytime in your day. Feel the water, right? Feel that warm water. Or maybe it's just noticing the sounds around you. Maybe taking a moment to just notice all those things that usually get missed in our very, very busy minds. Our conscious minds miss them. Your subconscious is taking everything in. So those little voices outside the room, or the cars going by, or the birds chirping outside, whatever it might be, just take a moment to really notice everything that's going on around you. So just some great ways you can practice some mindfulness. Another one is yoga. So if you're not a yoga person, Google it or find an app. Maybe go online and learn a yoga technique. So maybe a sun salutation, or just one little series of yoga poses that you can do maybe in the morning when you first get up to stretch and really pay attention to your body and get ready for your day. So first, we practice some self-care. Second, we forgive ourselves and be compassionate. Third is we practice mindfulness. It is a learned skill. It will get better and better over time. And then fourth is living with intention. So focusing on what you want most versus what you want right now, and making decisions based on what is best for you long term. What do you want most? Is it to be healthy? What do you want now? Is it the chips on the counter, right? Decide what you want most versus what you want right now. And does what you want right now get you closer to what you want most? Really taking good care of yourself, whether it has to do with food or whether it just has to do with your goals and distractions, and being able to overcome those. You really can get sidetracked so easily in this busy, busy world, right? We have so much information coming at us online, all around us. Everything is inundating our brains. And so sometimes we get lost on what we really want and what we're really working for in our lives. And then fifth is guard your energy. Guarding your energy is so important. Really looking at the people and the activities that bring you joy and the ones that don't. So I would challenge you today to really make a list of 10 things that bring you joy. And are you utilizing those? Are you actually putting them into your schedule? When I was growing up, I loved dancing. I loved it. I did it all throughout childhood and into high school. And then somewhere along the line, there was a good decade there where I wasn't dancing at all. And so I decided that I was going to incorporate some dance classes back into my life. And it really brought me so much joy. I made so many connections. I had a new tribe of friends and fellow dancers that I could connect with. And again, just brought me joy and peace, and it was good for my mental and my physical health. So what are maybe some of those things that you did? Maybe you loved to paint when you were younger. Maybe you love music and you just haven't been filling your life with as much music anymore. So make a list of 10 things that bring you joy and decide if you want some more of those in your life, if maybe you've lost track of them. And then the other list that I would challenge you to make today is the 10 people you hang around the most. Those 10 people are influencing your life. Make a list of those 10 people and then write a plus, a minus, or an equal sign next to each person based on how you feel about yourself after you're done spending time with them. So if you feel better about yourself and your life and your situation after you leave that person, put a plus sign next to them. If it's the opposite and maybe you feel worse about yourself or your circumstances or your life and where you're headed, put a minus. And if nothing really changes and you just feel the same, put an equal sign. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you to cut every single person out of your life that's a minus. I'm not, because I know that sometimes those are going to be the people closest to you. But I want you to guard your heart and guard your energy. And I want you to be able to have interactions with people that fill your cup, that make you feel good about yourself and where you're headed. And so maybe those people aren't the people that you share parts of your journey with. Maybe they're people that you steer the conversation in another direction. And I've had friends like that. My best friend from high school became one of those people that all of a sudden she wasn't happy with her life and her marriage and things that were going on. And every time we talked on the phone, we were long distance from each other, and every time we spoke, I'd spend 45 minutes listening to how awful her life was and how awful her husband was and how miserable she was in her situation. And when she was done, finally, she would ask me how I was, and I was like, everything's great. And honestly, those conversations became a little bit fewer and further between. There is an old saying that says misery loves company, and there's a reason why they say that. And it's because sometimes people aren't where you are. People aren't ready to learn and grow and have more joy in their life and become the person that they were meant to be. And maybe they're not at that same level as you right now. You can still love that person. You can still spend time with that person, but you might have to limit some of the conversations or some of the time that you do spend in their presence to guard your energy and make sure that you don't feel worse about yourself after you're with them. Setting clear boundaries is so important. Learning to say no, for example, is also important. Learning to say no to things that don't bring you that joy, to people that don't bring you that joy. It's okay to say no sometimes. Thank you, but not right now is an okay thing to say. So for today, take care of yourself, love yourself more, and love yourself first. You are going to be able to do more for the people that you love and for everyone around you if you take care of yourself first.